quickly that we can. Most important thing about them is that they work. There are no strings attached to NA. We're not affiliated with any other organizations. We have no initiation fees or dues, no pledges to sign, no promises to make to anyone. We are not connected with any political, religious, or law enforcement groups and are under no surveillance at any time. Anyone may join us regardless of age, race, sexual identity, creed, religion, or lack of religion. We're not interested in what or how much you used or who your connections were, what you have done in the past, how much or how little you have, but only in what you want to do about your problem and how we can help. The newcomer is the most important person at any meeting because we can only keep what we have by giving it away. We've learned from our group experience that those who keep coming to our meetings regularly stay clean.
Thanks, Sadie. Next is why are we here, y'all?
I got it. Why are we here? My name's Doug Maddie.
Doug.
Why are we here?
Okay. Okay, do it. It should be up here though.
Worldwide. Not living joy life for people too. Had to have something.
You have to be in front of there.
Oh, my bad. My name's Doug. I'm a grateful recovering addict. Why are we here? Before coming to the fellowship at NA, we cannot manage our own lives. Got to live enjoy life as other people do. We had to have something different. We thought we had found it in drugs. We placed their use ahead of the welfare of our families, our wives, husbands, and our children. We had to have drugs at all costs. We did many people great harm, but most of all, we harmed ourselves. Through our inability to accept personal responsibilities, we were actually creating our own problems. We seem to be incapable of facing life on its own terms. Most of us realize that in our addiction, we were slowly committing suicide, but addiction is such a cunning enemy of life that we had lost the power to do anything about it. Many of us ended up in jail or sought help through medicine, religion, or psychiatry. None of these methods was sufficient for us. Our disease always resurfaced or continued to progress until, in desperation, we sought help from each other in Narcotics Anonymous. After coming to NA, we realized we were sick people. We suffered from a disease from which there is no known cause, no cure. It can, however, be arrested at some point, and then recovery is then possible.
How it works. Come on and tell me how it works. Come on. Woo. Do you want the microphone?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
My name is Michael. I'm an addict. This is how it works. If you want what we have to offer and I'm willing to make the effort to get it, then you're ready to take certain steps. These are the principles that made our recovery possible. One, we admitted that we are powerless over our addiction, that our lives have become unmanageable. Two, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Three, we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Four, we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Five, we admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Six, we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Seven, we humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8, we made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, we made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so will injure them or others. 10, we continue to take personal inventory, and when we're wrong, properly admitted it. 11, we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for the knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to addicts and to practice these principles in all out there. This sounds like a big order, and we can't do it all at once. We didn't become addicted in one day, so remember, easy does it. There is one thing more than anything else that will defeat us in our recovery. This is an attitude or indifference towards thank you, spiritual principles. 3 of these that are indispensable are honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. With these, we are well on our way. We feel that our approach to the disease of addiction is completely realistic, but a therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel. We feel that our way is practical. One addict can best understand and help another addict. We believe that the sooner we face our problems within our society in everyday living, just that much faster do we become acceptable, responsible, and productive member of the society. The only way to keep from returning to active addiction is not to take that first drug. If you are like us, you know that one is too many and 1,000 is never enough. We put great emphasis on this, but we know that when we use drugs in any form or substitute one for another, we release our addiction all over again. Speaking of alcohol, is different from other drugs, has caused a great many addicts to relapse. Before we come to NA, many of us viewed alcohol separately, but we can't afford to be confused about this. Alcohol is a drug. We are people with the disease of addiction who must abstain from all drugs in order to recover.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Sorry for the people that did the early readings. I didn't give a hug to. Just know that you can come get a free hug anytime. I'll be right here. First time. The 12 traditions. What's your name?
Hi, Flex.
Hi, Lex.
Hi. Oops. Gotta give her mic.
Oh, here. I'm sorry. I'm really attached to that.
My name is Lex, we're super addict. We keep what we have only with vigilance, and just as freedom from the group, or freedom from the individual comes from the 12 steps, so freedom for the group springs from our traditions. As long as the ties that bind us together are stronger than those that would tear us apart, all will be well. 1, our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends on NA unity. 2, for our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as she or he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants, they do not govern. 3, the only requirement for membership is the desire to stop using. 4, each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or NA as a whole. 5, each group has but one primary purpose, to carry the message to the addict who still suffers. 6, an NA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the NA name to any related facility or outside enterprise, lest problems of money, property, or prestige divert us from our primary purpose. 7, every NA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. 8, Narcotics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. 9, NA as such ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. 10, Narcotics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues, hence the NA name never be drawn into public controversy. 11, our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and film. 12, anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities. Understanding these traditions comes slowly over a period of time. We pick up information as we talk to members and visit various groups. It usually isn't until we get involved with service that someone points out that personal recovery depends on NA unity, and that unity depends on how well we follow our traditions. The 12 traditions of NA are not negotiable. They are the guidelines that keep our fellowship alive and free. By following these guidelines in our dealings with others in society at large, we avoid many problems. That is not to say that our traditions eliminate all problems. We still have to face difficulties as they arise, communication problems, differences of opinions, internal controversies, and trouble with individuals and groups outside the fellowship. However, when we apply these principles, we avoid some of the pitfalls. Many of our problems are like those that our predecessors had to face. Their hard-won experience gave birth to this tradition, and our own experience has shown that these principles are just as valid today as they were when these traditions were formulated. Our traditions protect us from the internal and external forces that could destroy us. They are truly the bonds that bind us together. It is only through understanding and application that they work. I'll give you that.
My next speaker, or my next reading. Okay, coming up here. Okay, girl. This is well, it's Tina's Elena, but it's my Elena too. So,
Hey, none of y'all pushing her up here. I am. She's mine.
no, listen, this lady right here, man. Okay, I met her on the screen. Okay, several years ago, just a fact, ma'am. I wanted to meet her. I just have to say all this. I'm sorry, guys. It's gonna be short. I was so excited to go meet her in person and go visit her, because she's been in a hospital for a while, you know, and not been able to go out and do stuff. So this is amazing that she's here right now. You're awesome. But when I said I was gonna go meet her, I'm like, I feel like I'm meeting a famous person. So anyway, this is Elena.
Hi, everybody. I don't need it.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Elena, thanks for coming in. And I'm here to tell you the good news that we do recover, y'all.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the road, we find we no longer function as a human being, either with or without drugs.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll hold on.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But at the end of the road, we find we can no longer function as a human being, either with or without drugs. We all face the same dilemma. What is there left to do? There seems to be this alternative, either go on as best we can to the bitter ends, jail sentences or death, or find a new way to live. In years gone by, very few addicts ever had this last choice. And those who are addicted today are more fortunate. For the first time in history, a civil war is improving some of the lives of many addicts. And it's available to us all, y'all. It's a spiritual, not religious program known as Narcotics Anonymous.
Woo! Thanks, Elena. I love you. And I love every single one of you. Even if I don't know you, you know me now. Okay, Kristen, just in case you forgot. Okay, you guys. Excited for this. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about Jeff. I'm gonna try to keep it short. I saw Jeff on a meeting. Where is he? Oh, right there. I first saw Jeff. I think he came to Hope Fiends. It might have been a year, might have been a year and a half, not sure. But when I saw him, I was like, oh, hell yeah. I want him to come speak at Unity Day. But I wanted to make sure that other people agreed that he was fired. So it took a few minutes for me to get Vithia's programming chair. So got her. Finally, she saw him. She's like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So anyways, Jeff comes from Reno.
Yes.
He's a badass and I love him to death. And I'm just gonna say, you guys, here's Jeff from Reno.
Hey, how's it going, family? Grateful recovering addict named Jeff. First and foremost, I want to thank the God of my understanding for waking me up this morning, right? And before I share, right, I have two people I need to come up here real quick. Kristen and my cousin Tina. Yeah, what you didn't know. So, Kristen, stay up here, please. My best friend, Brian, he gave me my 6-year medallion last year, right? And I held on to this thing for a whole year. Well, they told me that I can only keep what I have by giving it away, right? So, Kristen,
Yeah.
You're welcome. Hey, and another thing, right? So my wife met my cousin Tina first, and I Facebook stalk people. I'm just letting you know, if we're Facebook friends, I will stalk all your friends. Telling you now. But found out Tina is my cousin, right? We have two mutual friends. They just so happen to be my cousins. She said they were her cousins, and they're my cousins. But I have a 2-year medallion that I got. It was my very first one. So, cuz I'd like to give it to you. All right, that can be pushed away a little bit because I'm a loud motherfucker, right? So just to let you guys know, right? I don't know if I'm recording. I'm good. I'm always good. God is good, right? My clean date is January 19, 2018, right? We currently have 7 years and counting, right? Each day clean is a miracle. And I didn't know that I was a miracle in the program in Narcotics Anonymous, right? So September 26, 2016, and before I start there, right, I'm going to tell you guys we're about to go on an emotional roller coaster, right? Like I will cry, and it takes water to grow grass, so that my spirit needs to be letting out that water that's inside my spirit, drowning me. So I need to grow that grass so my eyes might water, you know, and I'm comfortable with that today, right? Today is a beautiful day to be clean. And I didn't know that I was going to be clean today. Right? September 26, 2016, my wife found me dead in my apartment. She got tired of seeing the way I used and everything about it, right? And I'm just identifying with you guys. So if you guys can get there, understand I've been there too, right? I was in the apartment and I like to IV use, right? If this triggers anybody, I apologize about your feelings, but fuck your feelings. This is some real shit, right? Like I was an IV user and I had to use more and more and more because I had some sickness that I couldn't get high. So I kept trying to get high and I wasn't getting high. Well, I had to use more to get to make up for the days that I missed out on. I died. So I want to give it up to my wife. She brought me back to life, right? You know, and 33 days later, she told me that she's like, I'm going to take you on a date. And I thought she finally broke because we're not going to get high no more. I was like, yeah, we're going to the fucking dope man's house. Fuck no, she took me to you guys. She even took me to the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. So when I crawled into the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous in 2016, I wasn't ready. But I got a hug by a man that is no longer with us and died with an infinity medallion because he didn't have to pick up when cancer took him out, right? Yeah, that man saved my life because he gave me a hug and love that I didn't know I needed. If you're new to the program or just coming back from a relapse, welcome fucking home. You don't have to use again, even if you want to. And if you don't pick up, you don't use, right? I didn't know that shit and I didn't understand that. So understand that if I say some things in here and you're not understanding because you're new or because they're too hip or whatever they are, right? Come talk to me afterwards. I'm man enough to say what I have to say, right? This program saves and changes lives, and I just didn't know how it did it because I thought recovery meant I memorized the readings. So I have who is an addict. I have them all memorized, but the traditions, because I didn't think I needed those because I know how to act around other people. And you guys have seen me all day. I'm loud, proud, and I don't give two fucks, right? If there's kids in the room, I'm sure you heard this language before, right? You're around people just like me, and I want you guys to look to your right and to your left right now, right? You should be seeing your brothers and your sisters. Because guess what? There is no differences here, man. The disease of addiction does not fucking stop, man. It doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. It doesn't matter how rich or how poor you are. It doesn't matter where you came from, because this addict lived underneath the fucking bridge. And I grew up and I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. And I think that spoon was titanium or platinum or whatever it is, the highest fucking grade, right? Because my parents were fucking rich. So it was hard for this addict when he got kicked out on the streets because he didn't know what to do at his own home. Coming in high as shit, squeaking and fucking thinking that somebody's coming through the front door because he sees some fucking shadow monsters. And I heard some shit today that made me fired up, right? Talking about mental health in recovery. I don't just suffer from the disease of addiction. I have PTSD and bipolar disorder, right? I suffer from suicidal ideations with homicidal tendencies. If you don't know what that is, I'm a truck driver and it's not a good thing. If it's a bad day for me, it's probably a worse one for you, right? But they trust this addict behind a wheel because he has a CDL. Why? Because the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, right? Everything I have in life today is because of the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. Now, let me take you back a little bit, right? My twins were 4 years old. I first got custody of them. I was in the military. I was in the army, right? Because this motherfucker couldn't do right, even with the left foot. You know what I mean? I had two left foot and could never dance on my right foot ever, right? So I was deployed to Iraq. Is my son in here? I hope not. Oh, shit. I was deployed to Iraq, and this son right here almost got his foot amputated. He had gangrene on his foot. His foot was swollen 4 times the size of the other foot because we don't know what happened. Now, you could ask my son, have I ever once said anything bad about his biological mom? No. Why? Because he'll figure it out on his own if he wants to, or if he doesn't want to, that's okay with me too. It's his journey, not mine. But he's not one of us. He's not. He's never picked up a drug a day in his life. His brother, on the other hand, is a different story. And that's okay because the God of my understanding is talking to him, and telling him it's going to be all right. You just have to fight through it because this too shall pass. This is what you guys have told me when I came in here. You guys told me to keep coming back. Don't use no matter what. Find a sponsor, find a support group because your sponsor's an addict just like you. Man, and do some step work. Well, I didn't want to do no step work, right? I found a sponsor and I found him because he was just like me, but I knew I could manipulate a motherfucker because I'm smart. More like a smart ass, but it's still smart. Better than being a dumbass. So I found a sponsor and I started pencil whipping the freaking step work because you know what? I didn't graduate high school. My son is a senior. He will be graduating this year. Yeah. But I came into the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous because my wife brought me here and I needed her off my back, right? I needed my mom off my back. My kids wanted a father in their life and I didn't know Narcotics Anonymous was the solution. I came in here with a drug problem, not a me problem. I don't know if anybody else came in here with a drug problem, know that it wasn't a drug problem, it was a me problem, right? Man, I didn't want the disease of addiction to kick my ass and kill me, but I decided to pick back up one day because I wasn't ready to get clean. You would think after September 26th of dying that I would not want to pick up again. That's wrong. I heard somebody else speak today, man, and I had to leave the room because he was telling my story. Ain't that some shit? Because I started getting emotional and I didn't want that. And it's not that I feel bad about crying in front of anybody. It's just like, okay, well, quit telling my story. Right? I get that. So I picked up. And about 4 months later, I get into a fight with my wife. And we're at my mom and dad's house, right? And I leave her there probably because I wanted to fight with her because, the liquid drug is not enough. Now that I'm drunk, I don't want to freaking be drunk no more. I want to get high so I can be okay. I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but I'm there at times, right? So I come back to the house at 5 o'clock in the morning on January 18th, and I knew I already drank that day, right? And I get all comfortable because my wife's laying in bed with mascara running down her face, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm in like Flynn. So I get in my boxers and lay next to her, hold her, and she beats my ass. You guys popped in my head and said, one is too many, 1,000 is never enough. So when my twins were 4 years old, I had an apartment, I had it all. I even had drugs. But the drugs are more important than my kids. So I gave them to my biological mom, right? Because it was just going to be 2 weeks and I'll be good and I'll take them back, right? So the third day I wake up and I had to get high. And I didn't stop getting high. I had to go to guardianship court and I was in Washoe County, which is Reno, Nevada, not Sierra Sage, Nevada, just letting you guys know, right? And the judge there told me, I don't know what you're doing there because I'm high as hell. And if you guys don't know what noodle grooving is, know that I was spinning in that chair faster than that chair could spin. And I'm in court with a rig in my pocket. And he said, as long as he's a judge here in Washoe County, he will never let me have my kids again. So that same sponsor that I thought I could manipulate, that same sponsor that I thought, he don't know shit about fuck because he doesn't know me, he doesn't know my story. None of you guys do. He wrote a character witness statement about me. So did my sponsee brothers. So did 15 other people in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous because I pencil whipped some fucking step work and pretended like I was clean. What I was really doing is I was abstinent. If you guys don't know the difference, talk to a person, man. Today I'm in recovery. I'm not living in abstinence, right? I currently work steps with a sponsor who has a sponsor. I have sponsees, right? I am of service. These are all things you guys told me would keep me clean. And I just keep coming back. Even when I don't want to. So when I went and seen that judge again, I had 6 months and 29 days. My twins were 9 years old. I didn't see them very much when I was loaded because, in my head, you guys know what rationalization and justification is, right? I didn't know what step 1 meant about surrender, had no idea what surrender meant because I thought I was giving up, right? No, I have to let God's will work in my life, not my own will, and I'm a selfish motherfucker sometimes. That same judge that told me I'll never have custody of my kids again gave me full custody of my twins. They lived with me and my wife up till about 2 months ago, and then they got the place of their own, and now they're living on their own, about to graduate high school, right? So to anybody whose clean dates before January 19th, 2018, thank you. Thank you for allowing this addict to come into a room and feel loved for his first time. Thank you for showing him that step work could change a motherfucker's life if you try and apply the things that you learn in step work, right? Because step work isn't just going to change how you are in the meetings. And if that's all it's changing, take that fucking mask off and learn some new shit, right? We're in a meeting for what, an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours a day? What are you doing for the rest of the time? There's 24 hours in a day. I applied what I've learned in these steps to my job. You guys told me to show up early and leave late. So I show up to my job as early as I can and stay until I'm done. This addict didn't know how to hold down a job. The Rooms of Narcotics Anonymous showed me how to live life on things that have been told to me by my parents. And I didn't know that that was the truth, but sometimes it's not the message, it's the messenger. Right? And if you have the problem with the word God, right? Higher power, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a religious man. Not one bit. The God of my understanding is spiritual. Speaks to me through you. So let's break things down into acronyms, right? God, G-O-D, right? Good orderly direction. So if you have a problem with the word God, just think of it as good orderly direction. And if that one doesn't work with you, right? Group of druggies, and that's what you all are, right? We're just druggies not using right now. Know that, right? And have you guys ever heard of yet? Yeah, you're eligible too. Don't worry. It can happen, right? Because I keep coming back. I have chances and things in my life that I never knew were possible. I didn't know that I could take another man through the 12 steps and he would love himself and so much that he could love another addict till they learn to love themselves, right? And I have yet to take an addict all the way through the 12 steps, right? But that's okay, right? Men on their journey are only on their journey as long as they want to be on their journey, because I can't tell them what they're going to do. That's the God of their understanding to tell them and show them something new. I got to come up to this beautiful city last week, right? And spend a great weekend here and have the best time of my life. But know that I call my wife every day because that's the love of my life and I just didn't know it, right? In my active addiction, women, look, I'm sorry, y'all, right? And I'm going to tell you I'm sorry right now, but not sorry in a manipulative word, because you guys told me that saying sorry was just a manipulation, and at times it can be. Right? I didn't know that, but I do now. So now that I know it, I can't unknow it. So I don't want to learn some shit. Right? So I'm saying sorry to you wholeheartedly because I've used, abused, beat, fucking done everything to you to make you feel littler than me. Because don't you know who I am? If I feel down, you have to feel worse. And men, you too. You too. Why? Because again, it was all about me. My journey started when I was 8 years old. I was adopted when I was young. My mom was 14 when she had me. I have a resentment towards her and my biological dad. Yeah, 8 years old. I live with my grandparents who later on adopted me, right? And my grandma, who I call my mom, so you'll never hear me refer to her as my grandma again, because that's the mother of that cherished, loved, abetted, did everything for this fucking addict, right? Just so he could live another day. She was my she was my everything. And you hear how I said was, right? I'll get into that. She told me, go wait outside, your mom's coming. So I'm sitting out there with luggage and ready for my mom to come get me. And nobody liked me. So two 15-year-old boys came to hang out with this guy, right? And I was so excited. We went and played a couple games, and we played this game that we went behind a fence and one held me down and the other one raped me. What kind of game is that? And it wasn't just done with one. So this happened multiple times, right? And I didn't know how to channel feelings at the time, right? I didn't know how to harbor the feelings that I was hurting, that I was scared, I was in pain. So this addict burnt down a house at 8 years old and almost killed his dad. Yeah, I didn't know to have feelings, right? And all the way to the age of 13 years old, I thought I was a homosexual. And I'm okay with that, right? Like I learned through step work that it's okay to think things because I just didn't know. I was a young kid and I should have never been taken advantage of. But you know what? Today I'm okay with who I am. And I love that 8-year-old little boy that was scared. Because that 8-year-old little boy traveled with me into my active addiction. And the whole time I was out there, I was carrying a machete, scared of you, wanting you to be scared of me. You know, I got to tell a story that me and my wife were walking down the street right after we got loaded, right? And going to the casino because, hey, where are we going to hang out, right? Buffaloes. If you don't know what that is, know that it's a casino shit, right? Right? And I used to tell my wife, everybody in this town, if not everybody, mostly everybody hates me because I robbed Peter and Paul not to pay either one, but to go to the dope man's house, right? And somebody drove by in a Suburban, tinted windows. It was like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, I don't know, midnight, 1, who knows, right? I never knew what time it was when I was loaded. I just knew it was time to get high, right? So we're walking down the street hand to hand, and I told her, you know, look, somebody's driving by and it looks a little suspicious. She's like, well, let's just keep walking. I'm like, I'm a man that stands 10 toes down. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, fuck around and find out. And the car stopped. And of course me, because I'm a gangster, right? Like I threw my hands up, like, what are you gonna do? And my homeboy jumped out of the car and said, Jeff. I said, what? And he's like, bro, it's me. I'm like, oh shit. My wife's like, you're a fucking idiot. But that's where the disease of addiction takes me, right? That's where it takes me. Because I didn't know who I was. And I'm still learning. I have a strong sponsor today, right? I have a man that sat me down and told me, are you fucking ready to do anything for your recovery? I'm like, well, I was willing to fucking get high. So yeah, I'm willing to do anything to fucking get some recovery, right? And he's like, good. Read the basic text. I was like, oh man, here we go. But I noticed this time when I put pen to paper, my heart was bleeding out on the paper and I didn't know it was coming out. And when I got to share about it, because one thing about it is writing it down. The other thing about it is speaking it out loud. I could write it down all day and not understand a damn thing I write about. But when I speak it out loud, it makes it true. Right? So when I finally surrendered to the program of Narcotics Anonymous, it was a great day, but I didn't just stay here, right? I left on a resentment. I don't know if y'all ever heard of the spirit of rotation, right? But people did not want to step up for a meeting that I constantly kept going to 18 months straight. And I was the secretary that held only a year position. And don't you know who I am? I don't want to be here anymore. Quit taking up my Saturdays. I want to do some shit. No. They kept telling me, hold on. Well, the 18-month, I told them, no, fuck you, and take these keys and shove them up wherever, right? And I left, and I didn't come back to the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous for 2.5 years. But I came back and picked up key tags. You know, I had a buddy that told me, I miss you. I'm like, I'm right here. He's like, you're not the same person I seen in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. He's like, I used to go to meetings and know you were going to be there, even if I didn't want you there. He's like, I knew you were going to come talk to me if I didn't want to talk to you. And I knew you were going to hug me if I didn't want to hug. He's like, when that person comes back around, talk to me then. Bye. And another man that we just lost in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, right? Another one with an infinity medallion, right? I've lost a lot of people, y'all, right? Like, understand that this program's not full of rainbows and fucking unicorns, right? None of us are going to get out of this thing alive. None of us, right? And there's nothing I'm going to say today, right, that you haven't heard before. This was passed down since 1953, right? I came to a meeting because it was time to pick up a key tag, right? Because I had another black key tag coming to me. And he's like, what the hell are you here for? Another freaking key tag? I came back to you guys on a resentment. And wouldn't you know, it worked this time? Right? You know, I trust the program of Narcotics Anonymous. I don't trust everybody in it. That's my truth, right? Not everybody in the program of Narcotics Anonymous is here to see you succeed. Right? Service, I love it, right? I just turned in my packet for our Par Boulevard, which is our Washoe County Jail, right? And I'm hoping that I get approved, right? I'm praying to the God of my understanding that he allows me to go in somewhere that I've been before and change somebody's life, or at least send a message that this meeting is out there as well. Because when I was in Par Boulevard sitting there, I only went in there because I got out of my cell for an hour and a half, and I was 23 hours locked down and 1 hour out. Now, I haven't been to prison, right? I haven't. But know that I was on a one-way trip to prison as soon as I was loaded and had no fucks to give about it. Because you know what? A prison cell's a lot better than a cot or a sleeping bag underneath a bridge. When me and my wife first got together, she told me, you're not sleeping outside no more, baby. You got a home. I don't just have a woman in my life. I have the woman of my dreams in my life. We got married April 26th, 2021. We just celebrated 4 years marriage, right? We've been together since August of 2016. And it's almost 9 years, right? And men in the program, right? I don't care if you're newer or older than me, right? Have more clean time, have more recovery, right? Because clean time doesn't equal recovery, right? Thank you for showing me how to be a father. Thank you for showing me how to be a loving and caring husband. Thank you for showing me I don't have to raise my hand to a woman. Thank you for allowing me to cry in front of you because I was hurt. Because every time I cried when I was younger, my dad told me, stop your fucking crying. I'll give you something to cry for. So when I worked my fourth and fifth step with my sponsor and I started crying, I wiped my eyes, you know, and he told me it takes water to make grass grow, right? And your soul is fucking drowning. Let that fucking water out so the grass can grow and your soul can fucking be spiritualized, right? So that's what I do today. I cry when I need to cry. I don't fake it to make it, right? I don't have to think, oh, just because. No, this happened for a reason. I'm here for a reason. And I don't just mean in Seattle, right? I mean on earth. I don't know why I didn't die September 26, 2016. I don't know why I didn't die when I got stabbed multiple times by a woman that I was with and went right back to her as soon as I got out of the hospital, right? I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't die when I deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan, even though I was on the front lines. I just know you guys told me no matter what, I could stay clean through anything. And I'm going to tell you how I know that, right? So I got a tattoo on my hand that says no matter what with the NA symbol behind it. And I was like, man, should I put my clean date? Because I've relapsed before. Relapse is not a part of my recovery. It's a lack of recovery, right? Just letting you know, right? If anybody thinks it's a part of their recovery, get that shit out of here. It's not a part of your recovery. It's the lack thereof the recovery, right? And this is just my perspective. If I'm saying something wrong, right? Talk to your sponsor, man. I don't know what to tell you. Right? So like the lack of my recovery made me pick up and use again because I didn't know who me was. Because I want to pencil whip some step work and not understand what's really going on. That's where the lack of the recovery came in. So yeah, I picked up. So the two most important people in my life, because no matter what, right? March 10th, 2021. That was the day my mom died. 33 days later, April 13th, 2021. So my dad took his last breath. But I'm not sad about that today, right? It took some years, and about 2 years ago almost, my wife told me they're in a better place. And many of people told me this, they're in a better place. They're not suffering no more. But sometimes it's not the message, it's the messenger. And when she told me that, I was ready to listen. I was ready to receive that listening thing that I needed to hear. Because there's a difference between listening and hearing, right? I can hear you all day, but when I listen with my heart, right? I don't stand up here, you guys, to try to make myself feel better or be better because there is no big I's and little U's, right? Nobody in this room is better than the next person. We're all eligible to fucking pick up and get loaded one more time and possibly die. I knew some people with 20 plus years that picked up one more time and got loaded and were dead the next day, right? Anything is possible. Let's get into relationships. I love those things, right? But I'm not talking about sexual. I'm talking about intimate. And I didn't know intimacy was different than sexual, right? Right? Because do you know what intimacy is? Into you, I see, right? Into me, I see. I didn't know that, right? So when I can start getting vulnerable and getting honest with some people, that's when I can get intimate with another person. And I just didn't understand how that can work with this addict, right? Because I don't know if I didn't tell you guys or not, right? The reason I'm scared that I'm not going to be able to go into Washoe County jails because I'm a dropout of a gang, right? And I'm on file as that too, and I'm okay with that, right? I haven't been incarcerated since 2015, right? I didn't know I was going to meet the woman of my dreams in a trap house that I lived in, that the VA was paying for, because guess what? Don't I know that somebody owes me something? And if you guys didn't walk around this town thinking that somebody owed you something, know that I still do from time to time. Somebody owes me something somewhere. I just don't know where they're at yet. I hold on to resentments like they're my last piece of candy and I'm a candy fiend. You know, I've grown up in the program in Narcotics Anonymous. You know, I got to watch my kids grow up to be great young men. I didn't know it means so much to me when my son told me, Dad, can I go with you? Come on with it. Come on with it, man. You know, I say what up though, because you know what? I don't know who's around or who needs to hear me. And I'm a loud person because I'm scared inside sometimes. Real scared. And I'm not afraid to admit that I'm scared from time to time today. You know, I understand that this too shall pass. The scaredness will pass, but what fear do I live in? Is it the fear like in my active addiction where I say, fuck everything and run? Or is it this fear in recovery when I face everything and rise? You tell me which one I'm in, right? Because I stand up here, you know, getting naked in front of y'all, right? And everybody's like, what do you mean getting naked right now? I'm not going to start stripping. My wife will kick my ass. and she's on the screen, right? I could be waiting for an ass kicking at any time. Right. But I get naked because I don't have to wear a mask in front of you guys, because I don't have to portray myself to be something that I'm not. Right. We don't talk about, I seen some shit go on today, right, that I don't need to see, right? But understand that I don't need to be a part of it today. Do I play a part in it? Hell no. That's what my sponsor taught me. What part did you play in it? So did the fourth and fifth step, right? What part did you play in it? And then you guys told me something about some character defects. What is that? I don't have any of those. I worked all those out. Me and God had a plan. We called them coping mechanisms. I don't know if that works or not, but I sure it does work in my head. But again, rationalization, justification works for this addict from time to time. All right, I'm sorry, I'm thirsty, y'all. And that was a manipulative sorry, because I'm really not sorry. There's people in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous that want the best for me, right? I didn't know that I was needed, wanted, and loved in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. So know that if you're a newcomer or you're an old timer, right? I don't ever say dinosaurs are extinct and you motherfuckers are still around, right? Like if you have some years, if you have some days, congratulations and welcome fucking home, right? You don't have to pick up, you don't have to use, but there's choices in life we get to make. And as being a sponsor, right? Because that's what you guys trained me to be. You didn't tell me you were training me to be a sponsor. You guys didn't tell me when I was doing step book, I was going to do that shit so I could understand it, so I could take another man through what I've done. I didn't know I'd have to hear somebody else's story to show him where I can relate to him so he doesn't feel bad about himself. Like the same thing my sponsor did with me. I had a sponsee, right?
Galileo.
He let me go, right? And again, I had that abandonment fucking feeling. I don't know if you guys ever had that. You guys ever had a fucking sponsor let you go and you felt abandoned? Little motherfuckers, right? No, but the thing is, their spiritual journey with me ended. And he's ready to blossom with somebody else. Right? He chose a woman as a sponsor, right? And that's okay. Right? Because right, like he thought things were going to be a little bit different. Started working a fourth step. But I had to tell him my shit was the exact same, and I could bring out my fourth step to show you, to prove to you that you're not alone. I've also heard that the fourth step's the hardest step. Shit, I know everything I've done. I know everything I've done. Step 6 and 7 were fucking bitches, man. I didn't know I had that. And you guys told me some shit I didn't ever want to know. Then you tell me step 8, I got to make a list of people that I'm supposed to fucking apologize. Fuck them. They owe me an apology. And then even asks in there, is there anybody in there that owes you an amends as well? Right? Damn right, every one of them, because they all owe me something. But again, I didn't know you guys were training me to be a sponsor. And I never wanted to be a sponsor. Hell, I got a wife. What the fuck do I need to be a sponsor for? And it's funny, the way I got this sponsor I had, because look, check it out. My first one, me and him, we just didn't really collide from time to time because I thought he was, because I put him on a pedestal, right? I was trying to fucking lie to you guys right now. I put him on a pedestal and he didn't meet my standards, so it made me mad. Man, don't put nobody on a pedestal, man. They're an addict just like you. They could pick up just like you and understand your sponsor is an addict just like you, and they need some fucking help too. As a sponsor, I'm not a fucking trash can. I'm not a doormat. I'm not your fucking counselor. I'm not your banker. And I'm sure as hell not your fucking taxi. My sponsees know, right? I am an asshole. Through and through. I called them up and asked them. They both said yes. Proof. I'm an asshole, right? But the relationship I get to build, and like I said, we on relationships, right? And you guys are thinking, oh, he's going to talk about his wife. No, look, that's the best relationship in the world I have, and sometimes the worst. It fucking sucks sometimes, right? But marriage is a work in progress, and so am I. If I remain reachable and teachable, I can get some understanding in my life that I never knew that I had, because as soon as I know it, and I can't lie and say I didn't. So the relationship I get to build with another man, like I got to build with my sponsor, has put me on another level of where I'm at in my life and what journeys I get to go through, right? Because the journey continues as long as I stay clean today, right? I got a blessing from God this morning, 2 of them. I got to open my eyes and see this beautiful world. You know, I want to thank the fellowship here in Seattle, right? For welcoming me and allowing me to come and share my experience with you, right? Because my story is the same as yours. There's just different fucking things involved in there, right? I didn't learn how to be me on the streets by me. I learned it from hookers, and that's the truth, right? I hung out at motels because I could type on a computer pretty fast and I could make up some eloquent shit and make it look nice so they can get a John in there, but they would have 2 beds, let me sleep on it till the John came over. If you don't know what a John is, understand that it's some shit, right? Understand that it's some shit. And I didn't know NA's been turning hoes into housewives since 1953 and convicts into fucking husbands since the same day, right? But know that it turned this fucking slut into a fucking house husband all day. Because I didn't sell this shit. I gave it away for free. And my wife took it and said, no more for anybody else. I'm lucky with the relationships I get to build and get to learn to have today. I am, right? Like the relationships I've learned to have was all through having a sponsor that loved me enough to tell me you're fucking wrong. As much as I didn't want to hear it, I had to hear it. And maybe from him, maybe from somebody else, I didn't know. I can't tell you who's going to give me the right message. I can tell you that somebody shared a message with me today that might have resonated with me, and it might not click until tomorrow. I don't know, right? I really hope I share something in here tonight that somebody needs to hear, but if it's only one addict, that's okay. But I heard if I share it with all of you, I'll float out of this room. And know that I'm all in the power of floating, right? Like I love that shit. But I'm scared of heights. It's weird. No, the relationships in life that I get to learn to have, right? When you guys told me to show up early, like I started with the service commitment of coffee making, right? And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world because you guys gave me keys to a door that I never even thought I could be in, right? And I thought the first thought, right? Because my first 10 thoughts could still be felonies. I'm going to be honest with you guys, right? Doesn't matter how much clean time I have. My first 10 thoughts could still be felonies. Hell, when I was going to Jesse's house, right? I told her even that, man, these houses would be nice to pull a lick in. I was like, oh shit, hold up, calm down, Jeff. You know what I mean? Because you get a little fucking wild sometimes, right? And I didn't come here to leave here on probation, right? I didn't come on vacation to leave on probation. I'm not about that life today, right? I would probably be somebody's bitch in jail today because I am not fighting. I got brittle hands and I'm a cute motherfucker, man. I'll tell you what, right? But no, like my first 10 thoughts could be felonies, but understand with the relationships I build, I still call my sponsor on a daily basis or at least text him to check in, right? And I still tell him, you know what? I'm a fucktard, right? Which means that I'm still fucked up, but at least I'm clean today. And if that's all I have going for me, just for today, it's a great day, right? I don't know who came here on a court card, right? I don't know who came here to get your family off your back. I don't know if you came here because your fucking probation officer told you to fucking come. I don't came here because your family. I don't care, whatever it is, hug that motherfucker and tell him thank you for fucking letting me live a new way of life, right? And if you're new in the program, right, give us fucking 18 months. I'm not going to tell you a year. Give us 18 months and work steps thoroughly. And if your life hasn't changed, you can refund your misery at the front fucking door, right? For sure. I remember how hard it was out there. I remember the last day I used like it was yesterday. I remember coming back to my wife. I remember laying down there. I remember still physically getting beat up and not feeling her punches, right? I remember that. And man, it's hot in here. Yeah. Hotter than a spoon in a trap house. I'll tell you what. But this program, right?
I'll be right back. I need to grab my
You guys
burger.
taught me what love was through a hug. You know, when me and my wife went to our first meeting, she told me outside the meeting, babe, if you don't like this, we'll go to your sister's house. My sister was the dope man. and I came into the rooms, and the man that was sharing was telling my story, and I didn't think anybody was like me. I hugged one person. I told him, you touch me again, I'm going to beat your ass. He said, keep coming back. Right. And I sat down next to my wife. She used to make NA art with the fucking styrofoam cups. She'd plug the fucking stir sticks in there and make eyes. It was the fucking coolest shit in the world because I didn't want to listen, especially to your readings. Right. You guys told me to read. I didn't like reading. Hell, I was damn near illiterate when I came into the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous. I could write some shit, but I couldn't read it. Right. Yeah, man, this program, hold on to your seat, right? It's going to be a bumpy ride. I can guarantee you that. Not every one of my days is fucking amazing, right? But as long as I stay clean, I have a chance to fight the next one, right? Everything in my recovery I did yesterday isn't going to change the fact of what I have to face today. It's just going to give me a better shot at staying clean today, right? As long as I stay with reaching out to my support circle, right? Because again, your sponsor can't be the only one you talk to, right? I see cliques in NA, right? I'm not in fucking high school. I'm not. I don't click up with none of y'all. If I talk to one of you, know that I talk to most of you, right? I didn't just sit down at one table for a long fucking time. Why? Not because I like to be a social butterfly, kind of, right? Like, it's because everybody in the program of Narcotics Anonymous needs to know that you're needed, wanted, and fucking loved, right? It's not just one little group that needs to know that I give a shit about you, right? I give a shit about each and every one of you, and you just don't know it. But if you didn't know it, you know it now. I came here for the first time for everybody else and came back for me. So when I came back for me, it was a different story. The pen to paper, heart bleeding on a paper, I was telling the truth. And they say the truth will set me free, right?
First, it'll piss you off.
But there's some stuff in my 4-step that if I tell the truth about, I might be locked up for a while, right? My sponsor said, don't worry about that shit. We'll worry about that later. And I didn't know that it would be so freeing telling somebody. Because I had a sponsor before, right? After the first one, who was the most popular guy in NA, who I seen as I'm fucking Mr. Popular, right? And it's nothing against him. It was my envision of him. Again, I'm putting somebody on a pedestal, right? So when I worked step 4 with him, I didn't feel nothing. I came home and told my wife a lie that, I felt so good, but I didn't. And then he didn't have time for me. And man, I'll tell you what, I need some time, right? I need a person to put in some time with me. Because I could cry like a little fucking girl sometimes, right? I need some fucking time. So if you don't have time for me, if you don't have time for a sponsee, make that motherfucker wait, right? Like, unless you're on their 4-step and you made me wait a month and a half after I wrote all this shit down, I was scared. For a month and a half, I was scared. And then I got another sponsor and I was telling him, because he was part of my support circle, how I pencil whipped steps 1 through 3. So he made me rewrite that shit and go over it again and rewrite a step 4 to tell him the same things I told another guy. But when I started crying, he said it was okay because he did that too. How is that okay? I didn't know I needed a sponsor that loved me as much as my sponsor loves me. I didn't know that my support circle would bring out a sponsor that I needed to have. And before I came up here, he was the last person I visited. Why? Because the sponsor is one of the most fucking crucial persons in my fucking recovery. He is what helps me. He is who showed me what the God of my understanding really could bring out in me. And he's also the same man that told me that if I'm telling something today and it changes down the road that I didn't lie today, my truth just blossoms, right? I just didn't see because the God of my understanding didn't show me what I needed to see later on, right? The fog will clear. And still today, right? Like the fog is just getting a little less dense, right? It's getting more clear. I just didn't know I needed to see some things that I needed to see. And after I wrote my 4-step, I started seeing some things that I felt guilt and shamed about, right? Because I only felt one, guilt and
Baby,
shame. And my sponsor told me
can
to
you
sit
give
and
me a
fucking
knife?
dwell on that, right? He said, that's probably not about right, but you might want to talk to some other people. My sponsor
something
also
I
gave
can
me
check
some
myself.
suggestions. When he says suggestions, I know that you better damn well do it, right? That
Steak knife.
if I feel that he is saying something wrong or I don't agree with it, reach out to 3 addicts. If 2 out of the 3 say the exact same thing, I'm probably the one in the wrong. That suggestion has stuck with me so well that my wife has turned into one of those addicts that I reach out to. Because even though I don't want to hear the answer, she has that answer, right? You know, I didn't know how to love a woman properly, even though I was shown by my dad my whole life, right? Because I was afraid who I am, or I was afraid because I was still that scared 8-year-old little boy, that I didn't know that somebody could love me unconditionally, because everything always came with conditions. I don't know if you guys ever had that significant other when you were getting loaded that, you know, oh, we'll stop together, right? Because that's what we're going to do. And then 3 days later, they're at the dope man's house. And like I said, the dope man was my sister. So she was calling me, what the fuck's going on? I thought you were stopping. Come over. I need to get high. Or that's what I said. And this woman, when she found me, she told me, because I came to, right? I didn't wake up. And that's another thing, right? I get to wake up today. I don't have to come to. I get to fall asleep. I don't have to fall out, right? When I came to, the first thing I asked her, like any other good drug addict, right? Where the fuck are my drugs? Right?
Oh.
And she said, I threw them away. And we have nothing to use in this house. First and only time I've ever called my wife a bitch. I said, bitch, get out. She stood at the door and told me, no, I'm not leaving you this time. She's like, we're going to get clean and we're doing this together. I'm like, we'll see how long this lasts. Well, as I said, we've been together since August of 2016, right? It took us so long to get married because I was married when I was with her. And I didn't want to get a divorce because I had a perfect marriage. She could do what she wanted. I could do what I wanted, right? There was no love. There was no nothing until I found the woman of my dreams. And I knew that that was the one I needed to be with for the rest of my life. And she needed my last name more than I did, right? And so when I had that most popular sponsor in the world, right? Because my wife's coming up on a milestone and I'm so fucking proud of her. And I already have oh, never mind. Shut up, Jeff. I have a medallion for her at the house too, right? It's another 2-year medallion because she's coming up on 2 years, July 20th, right? Right. And you know, I don't give no fronts. So trust and believe, baby, you only have what you have. And that's the truth, right? Because in 23 years, I'll have 30 years. Let's just put it that way, right? Like I could future trip like a motherfucker. Right. All I have is today. Right. You know, this program doesn't just change people, it makes people who they're supposed to be before you got loaded. Right. Let's start this journey off clean. Let's start tomorrow off clean. But tonight we have to go put our heads down on a pillow. Right. This program is it. I couldn't say enough about this program because it helped this addict realize that I'm not alone. You guys told me NA, right? Narcotics Anonymous. No. You guys told me never alone, never again. So when me and my wife went to that first meeting, you guys gave me a meeting pamphlet with a bunch of men's numbers on it, right? I ended up calling the hotline and I heard about that right here today. And like, that's fucking amazing. And it was 3 o'clock in the morning and I felt like using and I didn't want to pick up. An addict stayed on the phone with me for 2 hours and didn't once yawn or say, is that enough? He gave me the time I needed and I didn't know I needed time. So, you know, If you don't think this program could work for you, trust and believe. I never thought it would work for me. I didn't think I deserved the life that I live today, and still at times I don't. I have a sponsee that, so I told you I have suicidal ideations December 24th, Christmas Eve of this last year. 3 weeks before that, I got injured at work. They gave me pills, and I got to keep a hold of them. And my wife went to work. My son, he was in Stockton with my youngest sister, and my other son was at work. And I put all those pills in my hand.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
I was ready to end my life because it was just too much. I had one sponsor call me. We talked for an hour, and he's like, "All right, sponsor, I'll talk to you later." I'm like, "Okay, I love you." He's like, "I love you." And we hung up, and I put those pills back in my hand because, you know, I'm ready to use because I'm a fucking addict. And I'm ready to end my life. And the other sponsee called me. He says, "Spons, what are you doing?" I said, "Nothing." He's like, "Good, I'm coming over and bringing my step work. We're doing step work." I'm like, "You're not asking?" He's like, "No, I'm telling." So the God of my understanding works through other people, right? That's what I'm saying, right? Like, I didn't know that I needed somebody more than they needed me. And I didn't know that somebody needed me just as much as I needed them, right? I don't know how much time I have left, you guys, but I do know. Okay. I do know that this program is a fucking miracle, and you're the miracle that's inside of it. Don't leave 5 minutes before the miracle happens. And if you're thinking about leaving, just sit your fucking ass down and get ready to listen to some shit, right? And if it's not from me, maybe it's from another recovering addict that just heard some things that you needed to hear as well, and maybe just needed to hear them a little bit different. Because I understand my perspective could just be a little bit different than everybody else's. I did tell you, Seattle, I hope you're ready for an addict like me, right? I didn't come here for glitz and glamour. I didn't come here to get put on a pedestal. I came here to share my experience, my strength, and my hope. And if you don't know what hope means, it hold on, pain ends. Right? Now, I did tell an addict in here I was going to share this whole message to him. Right? Understand that you're never alone. You're never going to have to be alone again. Pick up a phone, call a person, find a sponsor, work some steps. Don't ever be scared of who you are, and learn that we love you until you learn to love yourself, and don't hold on to resentments like I do. Sometimes they hurt, and days aren't always going to be fucking easy. They're going to be hard, but if they weren't hard, we wouldn't grow. Look, I love each and every one of you, right? For allowing me to be me, for allowing me to live another day, for showing me that I can use your higher power when mine's not working for me, right? That I can continue coming back, you know, even if I stink, right? Because being homeless, I thought I was the stinkiest mother in the world. You know, I used to get high and tell my wife, do I smell? She'd be like, fucking stop. I was the weirdo that turned off the lights in your house, even though that you were there. And I'm like, you need to shut up because people are outside, and I was the only one out there. I would walk around houses and put freaking bandanas on and have everything all blacked out because I wanted you scared, right? Because if I had the dope man scared, that means I could take his shit. And I was a taker. Today, I live a different life. Today, the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous didn't change my life. It saved my life. It saved my marriage. It taught me how to have a marriage. It taught me how to have a life. It taught me how to be a father. It taught me how to be a son. So no, when we take that moment of silence, I don't just pray for the still sick and suffering addict. I pray for their parents too. My mom was crying and hurting every time that I was out there. And the only time she was happy was when I was incarcerated. They passed away before I can make my amends to them. So I'd get to write it in a letter and read it to them out loud, or do whatever my sponsor tells me to, because his suggestions are pretty much orders, and I'm used to those because of the military. but they're really not. I'm just fucking making you guys laugh, right? Like he gives me suggestions that I know I could do, but he also gives me a different way to think about it. He takes me to the why in the road, just like he taught me to do with my sponsees. Take them to the why in the road because we can't make fucking choices for y'all, man. You got to make your own choices. We have choices in life, and I'm not going to be there every day. My sponsees know that I'll take them to a fork in the road. You got a choice, left or right. It's your choice. I can't tell you what to make. After you make it, that's on you. I can't tell you if it's right or wrong. I will though, because I still like to fucking nitpick. That's me, right? But I love my life today. I love each and every one of you, even if I don't know you, right? And I really hope and pray that you keep coming back. And if you don't want to keep coming back, that's okay. Stick and stay. It's a lot easier staying clean than it is getting clean, right? And if something didn't resonate with you or did resonate with you in what I shared today, right? I hope it fucked up your next high. My name is Jeff, grateful recovering addict. Thank you, guys.
Great job, Jeff. Woo!
Okay, this is my last chance with the microphone. I just want to say a few things before we circle up.
Oh, yes, not to touch each other's arm.
Reminder, there's flowers on the tables. First come, first serve. Take one home if you want. And please, if anybody has energy left to please help out us clean up a little bit, please stay and help out. If you can't, I understand. I want to go home too, but I gotta hang out because I'll be here till the end, till 9 p.m. So please, you guys, everybody circle up, please, so we can do our just for today.
I want to read it.
Okay, we'll just turn it around and see.
You get it, Sarah.
You ready? Are you ready?
It's not really a circle. And we don't care. We're atoms, right?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got it already. Okay, fine.
Aw.
Just for today, tell yourself.
Oh, she probably didn't even hear me.
On my recovery, living and enjoying life without the use of drugs. Just for today, I'll faith in someone in me who believes in me and wants to help me in my recovery.
I believe in you.
Thank you. Just for today, I will have a program. I will try to follow it to the best of my ability. Just for today, I will try to get a better perspective on my life. Just for today, I will be unafraid, and my thoughts will be on my new associations, people who are not using and who have found a new way to live.
So long as I follow that way, I have nothing to fear.
Here, here.
We're all working.
You guys, you go.
And
Bye,
then
guys.
some
Love
snacks.
you.
Take my will of my life.
Thanks for coming,
Starting my
everybody.
recovery, learning how to live.
The committee picture in front of the bathroom. Kristen? Yeah.
That was fucking awesome.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
We recorded this and we'll figure out a way to share the recording if anyone wants it.
Oh, I do.
Yes,
Hopefully the sound
absolutely.
quality was okay.
Yeah.
We're winging it
It
here.
was,
I'll put
it was great.
I'll put my email in the chat.
I absolutely want it too.
I absolutely want it too.